Hi, Trans Youth channel. My name is Kinnon, and this is going to be my introduction video as well as me talking a little bit on the subject of marriage, which is this week's topic. I just wanted to say thank you to Kit for asking me to join this channel. I think it's a brilliant idea to sort of start to work to integrate both the trans guy and trans woman community on YouTube, because I really see these communities as really separate. While the differences are understandable, our paths are really separate and our life experiences are very unique. However, I think that there does need to be more of an effort to foster relationship building between both trans guys and trans girls. So thank you to Kit and also to all of the rest of you gals for asking me and Kaden to join the channel. So I wasn't actually supposed to make a video until Sunday, so I was gonna actually make some notes and figure out what I wanted to say about myself and what I wanted to say on the topic of marriage. So this is really totally a freestyle. I'm going to be thinking off the top of my head. I'm a slow talker and a slow thinker, so bear with me. So I'm 26, which pretty much makes me a senior citizen around here. I don't really consider myself a youth, but I have done trans youth programming, so in a certain way I am still a youth, and I'm kind of young and free-spirited in some ways. So I have a cat, and we're pretty much in love and soulmates. Her name is Marla, and she cameos in a lot of my videos. I'm single. I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. My sexuality is pretty fluid. I formally identified as a dyke, but I've also formally identified as bisexual and as straight. I definitely don't identify as straight anymore. I identify as queer. And I date cis guys, cis queer women, I've dated trans women, dated gay guys. Pretty much, I'm pretty much open to dating anybody. And, this is my cat who's doing a cameo as we speak. This is Marla. I'm on testosterone for 6 months, and that's been going well. I am out to everybody in my life. Family's pretty supportive. They slip up around pronouns and not so much name, but pronoun stuff that is complicated for them. And I haven't had chest surgery, but hopefully in the next year that will happen. I'm trying to wait actually until I build up my chest a bit more. I want it to be perfect, so that my surgery results are good. But also my other reason for waiting is that I'm hoping to do a PhD. And if I do a PhD starting in September 2012 at York University, then they have a trans fund. So I would have surgery covered. So if I can hold out until September 2012, then I'll have a free surgery. The cat is totally hissing and growling at some other cat outside the window. Hey! Hey! Sorry about that. Fuck, she's really all wound up. Marla! Marla. I'm gonna shut this off just for a moment and deal with it. Okay, so now that I've just attended to my feline, I had another couple of thoughts that I thought were important to mention before I go on and start talking about marriage. I'm not looking forward to talking about marriage. It's a little confession of mine. I feel pretty ambivalent about marriage, but I'll talk about that later. Um, so, okay. So I don't really identify as male, and I don't identify with the label FTM. There's just something that doesn't sit well with it, with FTM with me. I think in a way, it seems really biomedical and really assuming a very particular trans narrative that one is born female and then moves very swiftly and smoothly to male. And then, of course, as I just said, I don't identify as male, so it makes the FTM label pretty complicated for me. I do consider myself a guy, and I consider myself as a trans guy. I use the word trans guy as a point of reference, but I mostly just identify as genderqueer and transsexual. I am really critical of gender as a construction, and I see it in that way as mostly socially constructed, although in some ways biologically influenced. I also identify as femme. Some days I do feel like, or in some spaces, like in the gym, I feel very buff and masculine, but a lot of times I'm very emotional and I like to talk about my feelings, and I mostly hang out with femmes, whether that be femme gay guys or femme queer women. Yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I also wanted to totally name drop Zara Harley and say that we know each other in real life. We did gender journeys together in Toronto when we were just baby trans people. um, Not really, that was like 6 months ago or something. But it was before both of us started hormones. So we go way back. Zara, I miss you. So now I have to talk about marriage. It's gonna be probably short because I don't. I just have a few things to say. Uh, Probably I'll end up getting married. At this point, I don't really care whether that happens or not. I'm living in Nova Scotia right now. I'm from Nova Scotia, which is in Canada. But I did just lived in Toronto for 4 years, but I just moved home. Uh, so in Canada, there is same-sex marriage. So even if I never do legally change my sex, so I'm still iffy about doing that. I could marry a female person legally, being also legally female. What I think would be really, really interesting and really fun is if I stayed legally female and I fell in love with a man and we got married in a Catholic church. Um, yeah, this is a really fun fantasy of mine. Because I'm Catholic. I was raised Catholic, totally not practicing, and I'm totally atheist. But Catholicism is just it's in my bones. It's part of who I am, regardless of your beliefs in a deity. Catholicism is just stays with you. You can't. That shit stays with you for life. So yeah, I would really like to get married to a man and have a gay wedding in a Catholic church because my legal sex would be female. So I'm gonna try to work that out at some point. But yeah, marriage. I don't know. I'm not comfortable with this with such state involvement and state control over relationships, and just thinking about the history of the kind of the political and economic history of marriage, just in terms of like uh, some of the really fucked up, socially oppressive rules around marriage. Like some of the racist histories in marriage where white folks were not allowed to marry non-white people, the history of male ownership over females in marriage. I'm uncomfortable with that history, as well as just the fact that there isn't same-sex marriage in many, many countries around the world. And also, I also find it really problematic, just the whole wedding industry. It's so expensive, like, um, and there's that pressure to go out and drop 30 grand on a wedding. Like, I mean, that shit is ridiculous. Like, I can think of so many more productive things to do with $30,000. Those are just a few of my thoughts on marriage. The other reason that I want to get married is because I really want an excuse to wear a really sexy kilt and jacket, which I'll show you the picture of. This is what um, all of the Scottish boys in my town wear when they get married. So I'll leave you with that, and until next time that there's a wild card spot, I'll see you soon. Bye bye.